What's good, man? This is Dex View, and I am your host, Dex. I hope everybody is having a lovely day. I'm not to be honest. I'm gonna be straight up with you, man. I'm ready for football season, bro. Getting straight to the point. I ain't really got no intro for you. I'm just ready for football season. We are exactly 100 days out right now. We're 100 days out from football season. We got the NBA finals left. Gentlemen, just stay strong, man. I know this is about to be a dark time in our life. It's going to be a dark time for me anyway. All I watch is sports, and I only watch basketball and football. So, towards the end of the NBA season, bro, it's like a long little drought for me. I have nothing to do. I'm usually depressed because I have nothing to occupy my time. But now I guess I can come talk to y'all. I guess I can make some shit up and try to talk to y'all. I actually got a real nice segment for you today, man, just because I'm ready for football season. I got Jerry Rice versus Randy Moss. I got Jerry Rice versus Randy Moss. Who was the best? Who's better? Who do y'all think is better? I hope everybody has subscribed to my SoundCloud page. It's at DexView. I hope everybody has subscribed to my iTunes page. It's at DexView. There's a Facebook page. It's cooking at DexView as well. Follow me on the gram at DexView. We can talk on all of them, man. Y'all can give me suggestions, give me reviews, give me topics y'all want to talk about. Let's talk, man. Let's link up. Let's link up. I done start buying more Cuban. If you get to know me, man, you'll notice like I can literally in mid sentence, or finish off my sentence with a lyric of Future or Drake at any given time. I can start a sentence. We can be a mid conversation talking about, some deep shit, and I can relate it to a verse or a little, a few bars or something, man. So yeah, I always do that. Anyway, subscribe to them pages, man. DexView, we getting it popping. But today I got Jerry Rice versus Randy Moss. This has always been a debate in the barbershop. Always. And it's really a debate because the older cats, they not budging on the shit. They are not budging on the shit, and I understand why. Looking at Jerry Rice numbers, what they was seeing in the 80s, in the late 80s, I was born in 89, so I didn't see a lot of this shit. So what they was seeing in the late 80s and early 90s, bro, he was putting in work. Jerry Rice was killing secondaries. But you can't tell the young cat shit like me that was born in 89 and Randy Moss came in the league at 98 and I seen every year of his career. You can't tell me shit about Moss and you can't tell me he ain't the best ever. But the old cats, they have they got valid points. Just look at the stats, bro. Look at the stat. Jerry Rice shit is ridiculous. I mean, Randy Moss is ridiculous too, but Jerry Rice shit is ridiculous. 20 football seasons. Randy Moss only did 14. The numbers, his career numbers. Let me read them off. Jerry Rice career numbers. He has 197 touchdowns, 22,000 yards, 1,500 receptions. That's hell. That's crazy. Randy Moss had 982 receptions, 15,000 yards, and 156 touchdowns. Randy Moss was killing too. Moss was doing his damn thing. Now, the thing about these two cats, when you compare them, and not even just these two dudes, when you're comparing anybody, especially two great athletes like this, they're already GOAT status. Like, we should kind of quit trying to put the GOAT tag on one person when it's so hard to debate. Because like I said, the old guys have a valid argument. We have a valid argument. The younger guys have a valid argument. Damn, I can't talk. The younger guys have a valid argument for Randy Moss because we've seen his career and we've seen what he did. His name is now a verb. We've seen what Moss team. We seen that. Like we're the one. We created that shit. We created that Moss some shit. So that's how it is. And then in 20 years or in 15 years, these young kids now, Odell. Oh, my Odell, Antonio Brown. And we gonna be the older cats telling them, come on now, y'all know damn well them two Odell them can't fuck with Randy Moss. But it's every generation, everybody got their goats. That's why I said let's kind of quit putting the goat tag on one person and just put a GOAT status on him. Like he's GOAT status. Randy Moss, his track record, his resume, his numbers, his career, he's good enough to have the GOAT status placed on him. Jerry Rice as well. I can't sit here and argue with the old school cats and tell them that Jerry Rice is not the greatest of all time looking at his numbers. And they can't sit here and tell me that Randy Moss is not the greatest of all time looking at his numbers in the situation he was in, the situations he was in. Because Jerry Rice had it good. He had it good. Two of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. Two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Joe Montana and Steve Young. Those were his two signal callers. Then he had Jeff Garcia, at the end of his career, but it was Montana and Steve Young. Now, before I get into that, Randy Moss, 6'4", 210, 425, 51-inch vertical. Jerry Rice, 6'2", 200 pounds. I couldn't really find a 40-time form, a definite 40-time form. It's been a lot of rumors that it was a 4'7", 4'5'9", or 4'6", or, but I do think it was between a 4'6" and a 4'7". Those that I found those the most, so that's what we're gonna ride with. That alone right there tells you who's the more freakish athlete of the two. Randy Moss, 6'4", 210, 425, 51-inch vertical. Sounds like a freak. Jerry Rice, 6'2", 200 pounds. 4'6", 4'7". Makes me do that little emoji like when you're thinking. It's my favorite emoji. But yeah, it makes me think, man, like just listening to the height, the weight, the speed, at the combine and shit. At the combine, it sounds like Moss would be the better player, the higher draft pick. Now, when you comparing these two, you can compare them in two different ways. You can compare them off numbers, who had the better career, who had the best numbers, who did the most for the league, I guess, because Jerry Rice does have the Super Bowl rings. You can compare them that way, or you can compare them who is the bigger, stronger, faster, who's going to make a bigger impact on the game? Who are you going to have trouble game planning for? Who would you rather guard if you were a cornerback? Who is going to give you hell on that field? You can compare them that way. And I think when you speak on numbers, who had the better career, who shit was more pretty and all that shit, it goes to Jerry Rice. The dude played 20 years, had a hell of a career. Won Super Bowls. Then when you talk about Randy Moss, he had a good career. Didn't win a Super Bowl. Played on some great teams. Changed the NFL. Had a bad attitude, though. They say he was disrespectful. They say he was not a team player. He has a bad rap. Real bad rap. Him and Terrell Owens. The reason why Terrell Owens hasn't made the Hall of Fame yet. But yeah, so when you talk about who had the better career, who shit was more pretty, who won Super Bowl rings, it goes to Jerry Rice off the muscle. Just look at his career. And I'm not saying Moss didn't put up numbers. Jerry Rice just did it more consistently. He had no off years. He won Super Bowl rings, and he played for 20 seasons. Never had problems. Never was on no bullshit like Randy Moss. That is why people give Jerry Rice that GOAT tag. Bro, his career was stupid. His 9th year through his 11th year was insane. Bro, his 9th year through his 11th year was insane. 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 1,800 yards, 15 touchdowns. Those were his 3 best years when he was in the NFL. Those were his 3 best years. Those were Jerry Rice's 3 best years, I think. Looking at his numbers, those were his 3 best years. And it's funny because Randy Moss's 3 best years were kind of late as well. Started in his 10th season through his 12th season. And we all know who he was playing with when he had those hell of a seasons. 2007, what did he have? 1,500 yards and 23 touchdowns. Backdoor lost Brady. Still had 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Had Brady again the next year, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. Those were Randy Moss's best years. But, I mean, it's really debatable, to be honest, because he turned up in Minnesota. I mean, his first year out the gate, he goes for 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. His rookie season, he goes for 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. Jerry Rice, third season, he went for 22 touchdowns. Bro, they was killing, man. They was doing work out there. So what made Jerry Rice great? What made Randy Moss great? What did they do on the field that made them dominate like this? What were they great at? We all know Randy Moss, his speed was crazy. The hops was crazy. He really just knew how to blow the top off any defense. Route running was exceptionally well. Randy Moss had great route running. What did Jerry Rice do great? Jerry Rice was probably one of the greatest route runners of all time. I was watching some film last night on this because I knew I was going to do this segment today. Just watching film on Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. They both ran good routes. Like, they both ran great routes. But Jerry Rice was consistent. Consistency is everything in the NFL. You want to be consistent. And Jerry Rice was that. Well, he was breaking them down. I ran across some one-on-ones with him in practice. Bro, he making them fall and shit. He out there. It looked bad. But Jerry Rice was probably the best route runner of all time. And that's what they say. I didn't really get to see a lot of Jerry Rice. I seen maybe 2 years, I remember, when he was in San Francisco. But I seen the shit when he was in Oakland. That wasn't the real Jerry Rice. Well, I wanted to see the San Francisco when he was in San Fran and when he was dominating the league, the early 80s, late 80s and early 90s. That's the Jerry Rice I wanted to see. So I had to pull up some film last night and I checked it out. But he's one of the greatest route runners. But other than route running, I didn't see much that Jerry Rice did better than Ross. I think Moss had better catches than him. I seen Moss have way more better one hands in general, more freakish catches. Jerry Rice was just killing. Jerry Rice was just dominating. He was just tearing your ass off the bone. Randy Moss, he was doing that too, but he was doing freakish shit that we hadn't seen before. So when we really think about it, Jerry Rice running the 4.7, running the greatest route runners, quick as fuck too. Can't believe I just dropped the F-bomb on my podcast, bro. Damn, my bad, y'all. Jerry Rice is quick as hell too. He's quick. But I think, then this is my opinion. This is Deck's view. I love having my shit. Yes. But yes, this is Deck's view. I think if Jerry Rice had to deal with some of the shit Randy Moss had to deal with in his career, as in not playing with a great quarterback, hell, not playing with a good quarterback, shit, more than half of your career, would Jerry Rice have put up numbers like that? I'm not taking anything away from Jerry Rice, man. Please don't think I'm hating. But I'm just saying, if he had a more, if he didn't play with Hall of Fame quarterbacks his whole career, would he have put up numbers like he did? I mean, bro, pull up his stats if y'all ever get a chance. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But I guess I should ask this question. If Randy Moss had played with a Hall of Fame quarterback his whole career, what would his numbers be like? We seen what he did with Culpepper. 98. Well, this was with Randall Cunningham. 98, 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns. 99 with Culpepper, I think. Was that 99? No, 99 was Randall and Jeff George. Randall got hurt. 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns. Culpepper comes in. 2,000, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. Culpepper again, 2001, 1,300 yards, well, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Bro, 2003, he turned up 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns. 2004, Culpepper gets hurt, 767 yards, 13 touchdowns. So he played that season with Culpepper. I don't know who their backup was, but after that, he's gone. He's in Oakland next year with Lord knows who. Kerry Collins, I think. Let me look it up. Kerry Collins and Andrew Walter and Aaron Brooks was his quarterback. Kerry Collins, Andrew Walter, and Aaron Brooks. It's like he wasted 2 seasons. Moss literally wasted 2 seasons playing with these guys and still got 100 out the deal in 2005. 100. Still got 1,000 yards, I mean. He still got 1,000 yards in 2005 and 8 touchdowns. With fucking Andrew Walter and Aaron Brooks. If Moss had played with Tom Brady his whole career, what do you think he would have done? 2007, the dude goes fucking nuts. 1,400 yards, 7 yards away from 1,500 yards. So let's say 1,500 yards and 23 touchdowns. Undefeated season? Him and Brady would have been the greatest duo ever. And it didn't even just have to be Brady. I'm saying if Randy Moss got teamed up with any of those Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Dante Culpepper was a good-ass quarterback, but playing with Moss, dude was on his way to Hall of Fame. Damn it, he had 2 first-team All-Pro awards. Dante Culpepper was on 2 first-team All-Pro teams because of Randy Moss. So I think we can agree on that Randy Moss's career just wasn't as beautiful as Jerry Rice's. Randy Moss dealt with a lot of adversity. He played with a lot of horrible quarterbacks. Jerry Rice rarely played with horrible quarterbacks. He played with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, 2 of the best to play the game, Joe Montana and Steve Young. Like those numbers he put up, I'm not saying he was supposed to put them up because every receiver that plays with a great quarterback just doesn't put up crazy numbers like that. But Jerry Rice's caliber, playing with those kind of quarterbacks, he was supposed to do his thing. Just like when Randy Moss went to the Patriots, we expected Randy Moss to do his thing. We didn't expect him to score 23 touchdowns. I expected some crazy shit because I'm a Patriots fan and I know what Brady was up to. But we didn't expect him to score 23 touchdowns. But we expected Randy Moss to go over there and do his damn thing and dominate. Because he was with Tom Brady. Just like if Odell or Antonio Brown or any of those guys went to New England, we're going to expect them to kill. Just like Brandon Cooks, he's at New England now. We're expecting him to have a great season. Hell, no-name receivers go over there and we expect, he going to kill now. When they got Brandon Lloyd some years ago, Brandon Lloyd finna kill now, bro. He over there with Brady, and he had a hell of a season one year. When we got Chris Hogan just a couple years ago, Chris Hogan, he might have a good year, man. This might be a breakout year for him for one reason, because he's over there with Thomas Brady. We know how big quarterback play is in the NFL. It's everything, especially when you start talking about Hall of Fame quarterbacks versus the rest of the pack. It's a big difference, and it's not even close. It's a big difference, and it's not even close. Like, great quarterback play, it's just not throwing the ball, man. It's the little shit. It's dissecting the defense. It's knowing, it's film study. It's knowing what they about to run already before they even get out the huddle because of the down and distance. It's shit like that. It's being in the league for so many years and playing every team and seeing every kind of scheme that nobody can fuck with you. That's how Brady is right now. I heard him say it. He said he's been in the league so long, he's seen everything. Like, there's nothing else you can throw at me. That's how a lot of these quarterbacks are. They're just not as good as Brady. Breeze is the same way. There's really no way you can stop Breeze. He gonna get his. Big Ben, they gonna get theirs. Matt Ryan, he's been in the league long enough. He's gonna eat. They're hard to stop. They're Hall of Fame quarterbacks. That's what it is, bro. They're just hard to stop. The reason why I'm saying this is because Jerry Rice played with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You know, it was hard for him to have bad seasons. It was hard because them guys, they wasn't having too many bad seasons. They wasn't having too many bad games. So it's hard for him to have a bad game. Shit, if they not. Same with Brady, man. When he had Moss, it's hard for Moss to have a bad season when Brady is on the field. So hell yeah, Jerry Rice benefited from that. He had his career is better than Randy Moss's career because he had 2 better quarterbacks than Randy Moss. That's why. If Randy Moss had Brady, he didn't even have to play for 20 years. If Randy Moss would have had Brady for 12 of these 14 years, he would have had more numbers than Jerry Rice than those 20. I promise you. Randy Moss was that damn good. 6'4", 425. Yeah, I'm letting y'all know how I feel about it now. Damn it, I don't think it's close. Randy Moss was a freak athlete. He's way faster than Jerry Rice. Longer, bigger, stronger. Are we really being serious right here? I mean, but most people compare him by numbers, and that's why they usually give it to Jerry Rice. But when you cut the film on and when you see how Randy Moss was doing his shit versus how Jerry Rice was doing his shit, it's no question who was the best. Like, Randy Moss got 20 times more one-hand catches than Jerry Rice do on his highlights. His highlights look better. He's faster. We can see it. We can see that Jerry Rice didn't have what Randy Moss had. He just didn't. And I think a lot of people honestly don't want to give Randy Moss that GOAT title or the GOAT status title because of his reputation in the league. How real he was. He didn't hide anything. Randy Moss, he was really outspoken. He didn't bite his tongue. And if he felt the way, he would say it. And I think the league picked on him a little bit. Like when he got fined in Green Bay for fake mooning, I don't get why he got fined. I guess I don't think he even knew because he didn't use a prop or anything. They said it was disrespect or some bullshit. I think they only did it because it was Randy Moss. And then they didn't like how he paid. He paid in cash money, baby. Like he said it. Randy Moss was just real, man. He was a real guy. He didn't give a damn. And I like that. I love it. It was always a big thing when Randy Moss was backside of a play and he walked off the line. Bro, watch the highlights. You know how many receivers do that? But it's when Randy Moss do it, it's a big deal. Fuck all that. Most people hadn't even played football be talking like that. But when you're backside from a play, all the receivers walk off the line. When they caught Randy Moss doing that a few times and they brought it up and Moss was like, I play when I want to play. Damn, let's leave him alone, bro. Like, y'all know he gonna say something crazy. But anyway, when the shit hit the fan, when it all boils down to it, and you put Randy Moss and you put Jerry Rice side by side, and you bring 5 of the best cornerbacks ever, and you ask them, who will you have more problems dealing with on a Sunday afternoon? And he looks at 6'4" Randy Moss, and he runs a 4.25, and he looks at 6'2" Jerry Rice and see he runs a 4.7. Who do you think that cornerback's going to pick to want to guard? Who do you think that cornerback is going to pick to want to guard? Who do you think that cornerback is going to say would give him the most problems? And that's just off the body type and the speed and the attributes. That's not off what he's seen on the film. When he turned that shit on, it's going to be no doubt who would give him the most problems. So yeah, man, I hope everyone enjoyed this, man. I've been wanting to do this one for a long time, this Jerry Rice and Randy Moss comparison. It's big. I always thought it was Randy Moss just off the muscle, but doing this segment, doing my research, watching some film, watching Jerry Rice doing the ones-on-ones, it's definitely a debate. It's definitely a debate. I think Randy Moss is better, though. I think he is, but Jerry Rice is definitely in that conversation. He's definitely in it, especially with his resume. Bar the quarterbacks he played with, his resume alone, that's why he's first ballot. That's why he's labeled the greatest. He played 20 seasons. He brought a lot to the league. He played 20 seasons. He brought a lot to the league. But like I said, I got to go with Randy Moss. His name a verb and shit. Mossstein. We still say that shit to this day. I got to go with Moss, man. I hope everybody enjoyed this segment. Jerry Rice or Randy Moss, man. Leave me comments, tag, share, all that good shit, man. I will be back delivering the goods. This is Dex View.